we've come a long way. I think that, for example, it was a recent development that the California Secretary of State started making available a daily download of their campaign finance database. That's a huge step forward for transparency in California. We were really thrilled to see that at MapLight, and we're making use of it. You can now search on our website using a form that essentially pulls from that data download and have the most up-to-date data from the Secretary of State on a daily basis. There are several bills that have been moving through the legislature this year that would increase transparency around funding. One of them is the California Disclose Act. It would be a huge improvement to our situation because you're being given these messages by the campaigns that are devised to essentially convince you how you should be voting. If at that same moment where you're being given that message of how you should vote, you can make the assessment of who it is that's talking to you, you're going to be able to judge much more shrewdly how you want to internalize that message or whether you want to disregard it. Another thing that we think would be really great is if the California State Secretary of State and perhaps the FPPC would publish lists of top donors on their own websites. This is key information. It's very hard to compile. It's so much of what we're doing at MapLight is kind of the number crunching that it takes to be able to see and say confidently who the top donors to a particular candidate or for or against a particular ballot measure are. This is essential civic information, and so we believe that it should be made available to the public. It's a trend that I see emerging more and more. I think that we should certainly be optimistic that it is going to increase transparency and make it easier for the public to engage with the electoral process and thereby hold government more accountable.